Mobile County Public Schools presents Homeroom.
Hi, and welcome to Homeroom, where we introduce you to people who are making a big impact on our community through the hard work they're doing in Mobile County Public Schools. I'm your host, Renee Phillips, Director of Communication for the school system. And today I'm going to introduce you to some of our guidance counselors who are in all of our schools. And first I have Dr. Brenda Four, who is the supervisor of guidance counseling services for the entire district in Mobile County. That's a big job, right?
Yes, it is. It is big, sometimes stressful, but extremely rewarding.
Yes. And so how many counselors do we have working in our schools?
Right at 125.
Okay, so that's a lot.
Yes, it is, because some schools have 3 and 4 counselors. The larger middle schools and the larger high schools, even some of the larger elementaries have more than 1 counselor.
Okay. And I know there's some misconceptions about what exactly a school counselor does. So can you tell me, what do they do?
Well, they do a lot. So there's a misnomer in that there's an LPC path, which is a licensed professional counselor. And these are usually the therapists who work at an agency, or they work privately and they have a private practice with a license. Then you have the school counseling path, and some of our school counselors are LPCs. However, they're choosing to work in the schools and not have a private practice. So we are not necessarily therapeutic in nature. We can't make appointments to see a child every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at a certain time. But they are trained in mental health issues, how to handle mental health crisis, and that's what we do. We're kind of a triage, because there are so many students in so many schools. There's just no way that they could handle all of the needs of those children sufficiently. So that is why we work collaboratively a lot with AltaPoint, CarePoint, some of the hospitals, and we have the Bridge. We have a plethora of agencies who help us once we recognize a problem.
And they'll come into our schools and work with individual students on their particular...
Some of them do. AltaPoint, we have no private therapist who would come into the school. The student would go to their private therapist on their own, but we have over 40 AltaPoint therapists. We have a collaboration agreement with them, and so they are in our schools sometimes 3 days a week. Some schools have them 5 days a week. And as long as that child has a contract or is a consumer of AltaPoint, then yes, they can make an appointment to them. It takes out the traveling factor for the parents, so they don't have to travel downtown, or they don't have to travel to the AltaPoint office. The AltaPoint therapist is right there in the school, and that relationship with Mobile County school system has built a lot in the past few years. I think we started with just a few. We were one of the first districts in the state to do that and have built it to over 40 counselors.
And as a result, that helps them in the classroom.
Oh, it does, because the AltaPoint counselor can then talk to the teacher and the counselor, the administrators, let them know a little without interrupting or breaching confidentiality. They can let them know, this child would do better in this circumstance. This child might need to sit closer. You might want to use this approach for this child. There are lots of recommendations that the therapist can make without ever breaching confidentiality. So we love that relationship.
And it's a good partnership, because we can't do it all with our 125.
There are just simply too many children to do it all.
And so we had some exciting news recently.
Yeah.
We had 8 of our counselors receive the RAVE award, so they are the top counselors in the state.
Their program, yes, they were recognized for the type of program that they run. So yes, we're very proud of that.
And we're going to introduce our viewers to some of them during the show, but we have a picture that I want to show up, and I want you to name these counselors, because we are very proud of the work that they've done.
Certainly.
So will you tell us who these are?
Oh yes, okay. Starting from the left is Darlene Lewis. She actually received the award while she was at Craighead. She is now in between Pillins and Scarborough Middle School. Right beside her, we have Brittany Poe-In. She's at Linecoff. Then we have Alicia Clevenger. She is in Grand Bay. And
there's you.
and there's me. And then there's Melinda Gray. She is the full-time counselor at Pillins. Then we have Carolyn Newman. She's the full-time counselor at Kate Shepherd. Then we have Kelly, I'm sorry, we have Kelly Matthews Henderson. She just got married. She's at Fondy. And then we have Heather Polk. She's at Indian Springs. And we have Lori Stuckey, and she is at Pearl Haskew.
And so they were recognized up in Montgomery, right? And
They were, well, it was actually in Birmingham at the state conference that we had in November.
And how proud are you as their supervisor to have so many win that award?
It was very difficult to achieve. So being a recipient of that award is just fantastic. And the things that they do in their programs. And they don't have a free minute in the day. So
Right.
if you go to one of the schools and you see these counselors, not only these 8 counselors, but most of the counselors are just, you know, going all day long. There's so much to do.
And there's a strict criteria for winning that award, and
There
they
is.
followed it, and we're so proud of
Yes.
them. And we hope to have some more winners next year, correct?
We hope to have, hopefully all of these 8 schools will move on to a silver award. They won the bronze award last year. This year they will move on to silver. And then we hope to have more schools added to that for next year.
And so you would say the quality of counseling in Mobile County is really good.
I would say yes, that the quality of counseling, we work very hard to make sure everyone knows exactly what they're supposed to be doing, how they build collaborative relationships with the principals, with the teachers. We can't do anything without being collaborative and working within, and I think we're working very hard to get all counselors to that level that they are able to handle what they need to handle.
And I think we're doing an excellent job, and having 8 RAVE award winners shows that. Well, we have to break for commercial, and when we come back, I'm going to introduce you to some of our RAVE award-winning counselors who are in our elementary schools.
Each month, more than 90 guns are reported stolen from unlocked vehicles, creating the potential of serious injury or death.
Lock it up.
Many violent acts and crimes are committed with stolen guns.
Lock it up.
According to ATF, stolen guns pose a substantial threat to public safety.
Lock it up.
Be responsible. Take time to record your handgun serial number and secure it from thieves. Lock it up.
Lock it up for me.
Hi, and welcome back to Homeroom. Today I'm introducing you to some of our state award-winning counselors. We have some of the top counselors in the state here in Mobile County Public Schools, and 2 of them are with me. I have Lori Stuckey from Pearl Haskew Elementary and Kelly Henderson from Fondy Elementary School. And so I guess my first question for you guys is, why did you go into counseling?
Well, I originally went into education, and I was a school teacher, and I realized that the needs of most of our students were so severe, you know, that they needed so much more than just a classroom teacher, and so my heart led me to going into the counseling.
Okay.
I'm in a family of educators, and I knew that I didn't necessarily want to be in a classroom, but I wanted to provide assistance to children that couldn't get it outside of the school system. So I wanted to be there just to help them, and I love being in the schools.
And I imagine it's a tough job, but is it rewarding?
It's very rewarding. I mean, to see a child who's successful in the classroom or who's having problems and they come to see you, or, you know, just to get the hugs and the recognition in the hallway. I am at an elementary school, and so, you know, they just, they treat you like royalty, you know, and just knowing that I can give that back to them and making them believe in themselves and feel like that they can do things and build that self-esteem is very, very rewarding.
And then your work helps them in the classroom, correct?
Yeah, and I think our goal is to make sure that our kids are healthy mentally, physically, and to get them in the class, because their jobs are to learn and to be a student. And so we are able to facilitate that by getting them back on track.
Because we hear about the mental health crisis that we have in our country, and I know that children are coming in being diagnosed with various mental health disorders. So what are you seeing in your schools, or just in schools in general?
We see a lot of ADHD. A lot of kids are being diagnosed with ADHD. We're seeing a lot of anxiety issues. We have children who are, you know, come in already being, you know, diagnosed as autistic. We have, you know, ODD is another one, oppositional defiant disorder, that we're seeing. You know, we have a process called PST, you know, whenever the students are having problems in the classroom with this behavior and the mental illness, you know, it's a program that we refer. And in PST, problem solving team, they get resources and additional help needed to help these kids with their issues.
And so for that, would you work with the teacher in the classroom for the
We
PSTs?
work with teachers. We really try to collaborate with parents. We try to get them to the resources in our community. And we really try to, a big thing is with the parents, empowering them to know that there's resources and that we're there for them.
Okay. And we hear a lot about autism, and there's a rising number of children with autism. So what do we do in the schools to help those children?
The majority of our students who are autistic, a lot of times they already have IEPs, which are individualized educational plans. You know, and it's a learning plan that's unique for that child, and they have special resource teachers that they go to and that they, you know, can teach them on their level. The students who are high functioning autistic, they are in a classroom, they get all the same, you know, regular teachers, education, they do everything like a regular student would. We do have PST in place for those students as well, so whenever they do have those, you know, meltdowns, that we have resources and rooms and people available they can go to kind of give themselves, you know, the ability to calm down. A lot of times with autistic children, they have sensory issues where they cannot handle a lot of the high, you know, action things like, you know, pep rally or like a dance or different kind of things. And so we have, you know, resources available to help them as well.
And another one we hear a lot about is ADHD, attention deficit disorder. So how do we help those children?
Well, for each child, you definitely have to look at what their needs are, and it's individual per child. So getting into the classroom and giving different interventions, helping the teacher, helping the child, getting the parents on board so that they can have uniform interventions in all aspects of their life.
And also, we're stressed out society right now. So are you seeing a lot of anxiety?
Absolutely. I think it's important to teach our children at young ages coping skills and ways that they can relieve that stress through natural highs and things like that. So that's something that I really go in the classrooms and do a lot of.
What is a coping skill so we can tell our viewers about it?
All different things, and it's things that excite kids, calm them down, especially in classrooms, going and just taking a quick break to go get some water. You hear the regular ones of 10 deep breaths or counting to 10, anything that can kind of shift their focus and get them back on track.
Okay. Well, we have to break for commercial, but when we come back, we'll hear more from Lori and Kelly about being elementary counselors.
It's a fact. Bullying happens. Bullying can lead to serious physical and emotional pain. But there are some things you can do to prevent or stop it. Stand up for the person who's being bullied. Let the bully know that it's not cool to pick on others. Take action by reporting the bully to a teacher or principal. In the end, when you help someone who's being bullied, you are also helping yourself.
Hi, and welcome back to Homeroom. Today we are meeting some of the top school counselors in the entire state of Alabama, and they happen to work in Mobile County Public Schools. Rejoining us, I have Lori Stuckey with Pearl Haskew Elementary School and Kelly Henderson with Fondy, and they were both recognized recently with 6 of our other counselors in Birmingham with the RAVE Award. So tell me, what was that like being recognized for your work, the hard work that you do every day?
It was an awesome recognition. I think that we all do so many different things on a day-to-day level. We wear many hats. So to put all that together and be, you know, presented with a reward for everything that we do, it was very, very good.
And was it great meeting the other top counselors too?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we are able to get together as much as we would like, but to all really look at each other and say, we're doing what's best for our students, and to know that what we are doing really is making a difference and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So that felt really good.
And what you do is so broad. You're working with kids with mental health disorders, you're doing career planning, And I know one thing that we want to talk about today is bullying, because we hear a lot about bullying, and there are some misconceptions about what bullying is. And I think what I've heard counselors say is that all bullying is mean behavior, but not all mean behavior is bullying. So what is bullying?
Well, absolutely. So bullying is basically when someone does it repetitively, like day after day after day. Mean behaviors, people can just wake up on the wrong side of the bed and be in a grouchy mood and might snap, and that's not bullying. And unfortunately, we see a lot of that happening where people want to say that's bullying because someone says something mean. So we just want to clarify that bullying is when it's repetitive, it's daily. Like this person's on a vengeance to come after, one particular person and just ruin their entire life. It's something that's very thought out and, spiteful attack.
And so if a student is being bullied or they feel that they're being bullying, what do they do?
We have a protocol that we do within the school system. So if someone makes a threat or tries to harm someone in some way, then we have a protocol that's developed by Mobile County Public School Systems. They're brought into the counselor's office, and it's paperwork that we fill out. We have to contact the parent. We try to educate the child and let them know and give them resources. If they're having some anger management issues, we try to get outside help, for them to go to counseling and therapy to try to resolve some of those issues.
And then what you also do is you try to work on the front end of that, right? Starting in kindergarten, are you in the classrooms talking to students about how they should behave and treat other people?
Yeah, absolutely. We have the Bullying Prevention Week that is recognized nationally, so that really kicks off what we do. And through that, we do different activities. We bring in police officers, we really get with the kids, we define bullying. I host Coffee with the Counselor. I get the parents involved and really explain what it is. We do a lot of things like that. I think the biggest important is trying to collaborate and educate people on what it actually is. It's not just because your feelings were hurt once or twice, and that's really important for us.
And so what's that message like that you give to a kindergartner or a first grader? What do you go in and tell them?
We really focus at my school on more of a positive aspect of what friendship looks like instead of really focusing on bullying, because really at that age, everyone loves everyone, And so we try to focus on friendship and what friendship is and what friendship looks like and how we speak to one another and what we do. And, we do acts of kindness. And so that's what we try to focus on, really teaching them and sending that message of, being a better person, trying to just be a friendly person.
I think it's working. I have a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old, and they've told me the counselor says we don't bully, we be nice. And so I think your message is getting through even at the youngest of ages. But we have to break for commercial, and when we come back, I'll introduce you to some other of our fantastic school counselors in Mobile County Public Schools.
I believe my child's school is probably one of the best ones I could have picked in Mobile. She's in the PACE program. The teachers are phenomenal. The principal, couldn't ask for a better principal. The research that I had done myself, I believe the quality of education in Mobile County Public School System is excellent. For me and my child, I'm going to stick with the public school system. I think it's the way to go.
At Mobile County Public Schools, we believe it starts with us. That's why we offer Signature Academies.
Hello, I'm Jordan Clark, and I'm in the Health Service Academy at John L. LaFleur Magnet High School. My future career is to be an obstetrician gynecologist. With this academy, I'm learning firsthand from people already working in the industry. Shadowing them on the job really makes me want to study hard and work harder towards my career goals.
Signature Academies are open to all students in Mobile County Public High Schools. Visit mcpss.com.
Hi, and welcome back to Homeroom. Today we're meeting some of our fantastic school counselors in Mobile County Public Schools, including 4 of our 8 counselors who recently received the RAVE Award for being some of the top in the state of Alabama. And joining us today, I have Melinda Gray with Pillins Middle School and Darlene Lewis, who splits her time between Pillins and Scarborough Middle Schools. And so my first question is for you guys is, why did you go into counseling?
I went into counseling to be an advocate for the kids, to help them foster those social, emotional problems, to help with career development so that they'll be well-rounded adults.
What about you, Darlene?
I went into school counseling because my school counselors were such an intricate part of my education in Mobile County Public School System. So I pretty much wanted to replicate what they did for me. I wanted to give the same thing to students that are in Mobile County Public School Systems right now.
Okay, and what is a typical day like? Is there a typical day?
Yes, a typical day like coming on campus in the morning, the kids are running you down, Miss Gray, I need you, so I drop everything and give them my attention to help them be productive throughout the day. They come to us with so many problems, so I want to be there to advocate, to help them so that they're able to complete their assignments without having any anxiety and any, emotional problems. So that's a typical day for me, and it runs from almost 7 o'clock almost to I'm at the school till about 6 o'clock.
Oh, wow. And what's your day like?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing with a typical day. You're working with students, you're working with parents, administrators, collaborating and consultating with teachers and other resources for our students outside of the school. And my time is pretty much the same, about 7 o'clock till about 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening we're there.
Mm-hmm. And the kids know you. They know they can come to you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, they do know. We do give a needs assessment at the beginning of the school year that asks different questions about safety at the school. Do you know who your counselor is? Do you feel safe? And we take those results and build lessons on them.
Okay.
Yes.
And we were talking earlier with some of the other counselors about bullying, because that's a big thing that we see in the schools. But first, the important thing is to define that bullying is not the same as somebody being mean.
Right.
Bullying is a repeated behavior from one individual to another individual. What does bullying look like at the middle school level?
Well, with bullying at our school, we go into the classes, we do a pre-test to see, do you know the difference between bullying and being mean? With that data that we retrieve from that pre-test, we build our lessons on, and at the end of those lessons, we give a post-test to see if you fully understand what bullying is and what being mean is. We have a lot on the middle school level that deals with cyberbullying, social media, so we try to address that with digital literacy lessons that we do. We do near-part lessons so that they can understand and see exactly the difference between the two. We also educate our parents because we have a lot of phone calls saying that my child is being bullied. So we have to educate them so they'll know the difference between bully and being mean. Also, the teachers, we offer them literature to go over with the kids during their time. They're with them so that everyone is on board and know that Pillins is a bully-free zone school.
Mm-hmm. Which is good, because when they come to school, they don't need to have to worry about that.
Right.
And I know a lot of what is considered bullying, or people may think is bullying, is happening online, at home, on social media.
Right.
Is that something that you see in your schools, that kids are getting on social media and they may not be ready or mature enough to be on there?
We have a lot of kids with social media. We have to call in parents and have meetings, to pretty much help us, co-parent with us with your child and make sure that you are visible at home and make sure you're checking their cell phones to see what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Because most of the time parents, they do not know, they are not aware of what's going on with their students until we call and say, hey, Melinda's on social media making threats. So then it becomes an eye-opener for them, saying, oh, I didn't know this, but now let me go ahead and monitor my child's activity on social media.
And what do you tell students and parents when they're trying to start these new Snapchats or whatever they're on? How do you teach them to be responsible?
We actually encourage parents to be a part of their child's lives when it comes to social media. Make sure that you're aware of whatever devices they might be using, whatever type of social media outlets they might be using. Also, we have different resources coming to our schools to educate our parents and teachers and our students about social media safety. We use resources such as the Youth and Family Services with the Mobile District Attorney Office. We also use the Family Intervention Team with the Mobile Police Department because they do lessons and presentations to not only our students but our parents about bullying and sexting and safety as far as the law is concerned when it comes to internet use and pictures and those things of that such.
And that's wonderful, because I think as a parent you need to know what to do and how to talk to your child about it, because our world is constantly changing. But we have to go to a commercial break, and we'll come back in a few minutes and talk some more to our counselors.
As a student in the Mobile County Public Schools, there are a few things I've come to expect. One is a quality education, and the other is a quality lunch. Not only are our school meals well balanced, meeting all federal nutritional standards, but they also have less fat, fewer calories, and they taste really good. Oh, and I forgot to mention, our school lunches contain whole wheat, grains, fruits, and vegetables to give me the energy and brain power to get me through the day.
Hi, and welcome back to Homeroom. Today we're meeting some of our school counselors, and we've been talking about a lot of issues, including mental health, bullying. I've got Melinda Gray from Pillins and Darlene Lewis from Pillins and Scarborough. And I know one thing that you guys work on is preparing our students to be college and career ready. So what does that look like on the middle school?
Well, on the middle school level, we have an assessment called the Cooter assessment that the 8th graders are completing. With Cooter, we take the kids into the lab before they travel to the World's Opportunity Career Explosion, and then they take a career interest assessment. With the career interest assessment, it lets us know what they're interested in at that level. When we go to the World's Opportunity Career Explosion, they're able to see the different clusters that they may be interested in. Also, we come back and we start building our schedule for high school. They're inputting their classes for 9th through 12th grade with the 28 credits for high school.
So why is it important that they start thinking about what they want to do when they graduate when they're in middle school?
Well, it just doesn't start in middle school. It actually starts in elementary school. But in middle school, we just make a great effort to make sure that they understand, okay, you know, it doesn't just start once you're an adult. It actually starts here. And we want to see what you know, what you're interested in, what you're comfortable with, so that when it does come time for you to go out into the real world, you know, based on your educational plan on Cooter and your career interest survey, you'll know what it is that you want to do, or at least what direction you need to be going towards, especially when it comes to our signature academies in high school as well.
And so I know Worlds of Opportunity, they have all the different worlds. They have engineering, they have nursing. What are you finding that your students are interested in?
A lot of them are geared towards the, they want to be doctors and nurses, so we encourage them, do different classes, show different videos, what it takes as far as education to get to that level, so that they'll be ready, you know, and prepared. You know, when we get to high school, there's no time to play. We need to get all those credits and maybe push them to go an advanced route. So we want them to be educated and know exactly what they're getting themselves into. We also have a lot of kids that may not be college able, and they may want to do a trade. So we offer, with the career academies, the signature academies, they are able to see, you know, what schools, what is offered at the different schools, and able to say, well, hey, I'm going to go to BC Rain for aviation, you know. So we want them to be, you know, knowledgeable of what they're interested in and what, you know, what it takes to get there.
And I've heard good things about the Cooter program because it's an assessment and they answer questions. And
Yes.
does that help them sometimes if they're in middle school and they just don't know what they want to do?
Yes, but what we've seen is they are very interested in all the lessons, and it's not a rush deal. We do lessons throughout the year, and by the end of April, we have our career plan as far as high school, the classes that they're going to take for high school, that is completed. So, yeah, they pretty much know what route they're wanting to take by the time they get out of 8th grade. But, you know, when we all get to college, we may change our major because we may be interested in something else. So.
But at least we're focusing, and I think
but
it's
at least
so
they have a background of what it takes to do each job.
how to get there. Well, thank you so much for the work that you do every day, and that's all the time that we have today for Homeroom. Thanks for joining us.